On October 1st, the entire American medical community will be bracing for possible disruptions due to a massive new set of codes for describing illnesses and injuries. Here with the story is WSJ's Health and Science Senior Editor, Melinda Beck. Hi, Melinda.
Hi, Tanya.
So what are the numbers we're talking about here? How many codes are there currently, and how many will there be?
Well, there are about 14,000 different codes to describe and diagnose illnesses. That number is going to 70,000.
Wow.
There are about 4,000 more that only hospitals use, and that's going to 72,000. So in all, 144,000 new codes.
So there's a lot of worry, but will this be like, Y2K, much ado about nothing, or are there serious concerns about this gumming up the system?
Well, probably some of both. There's been all kinds of dire warnings that probably won't come true, but it really may delay how quickly claims are paid, and we may sort of see that in slow motion.
Now, let's go over some of the new codes because some of them are rather funny. I particularly like underdosing of caffeine.
Me too.
Problems in relationship with in-laws. What could that possibly be referring to?
Well, besides actually what the medical diagnosis is, this new system allows for doctors to list all kinds of different causes and locations, both in the body where there's a problem and where an external cause took place. So you have all kinds of codes for what room of a mobile home this
Maybe you had a cat fight with your mother-in-law, right? Other contact with a squirrel. That's another great code.
Yes.
And parental overprotection.
Who among us?
Who among us, right? So am I sort of off the mark by saying some people might look at these and say, well, this is sort of ridiculous. Is this a maneuver by the healthcare insurance industry to delay payments?
No. Really, that's not where this stems from. These codes come from the World Health Organization, and most of the rest of the world went to this new version a decade ago.
Okay.
Now, it's true that in the U.S., federal agencies, the CDC and Medicare, made a much more elaborate version for us. But partly it's so that researchers can track how many squirrel injuries have there been, how many injuries in one part of a mobile home.
How dangerous are in-laws these days, right?
Yes, and actually there's a whole category for injuries with spacecraft.
We are moving into the future. We'll have more interaction with spacecraft, certainly.
And if it takes 30 years for the next version of this to come online, they're anticipating.
So there are real public health benefits to all of this.
Yes.
Right. So will there be a grace period? Will there be some understanding if it doesn't get right the first time?
Well, Medicare has actually announced about a 12-month grace period, whereby if doctors get basically the general category of illness right, they will overlook whether all of the specificity is there that the code allows for. It's not clear whether private insurers will do that too.
Right, okay. So how long do you predict it will take before we're all up and humming along merrily?
It could take several months to see really how this is going, but it's going to take many months, maybe even a couple of years, for all the old codes to work their way through the system, because anything that took place, any service before October 1st will still have that old code.
Yes.
So if you're sitting with medical bills in a shoebox somewhere from last year, that will still have an ICD-9 code on it.
Right.
So it's going to take a long time.
Working its way through the system. Melinda Beck, thank you so much for that.